Hello everybody, welcome to Wild Shrimp. This video is going to be the first in a playlist called Basics. Just because it's called Basics, it doesn't mean that there is nothing you could pick up here if you've been keeping fish for a little while, but it is aimed mostly at people who are new to the hobby or who haven't even taken the plunge yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the fundamentals and try and give you the ability to understand what it is you want and what things can give you. That way that you can make informed decisions and understand why you're making those decisions to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Okay? So this first one is, what do you need to keep fish? First off, fish, yeah, I know. There is no such thing as a fish. What? This guy is on crack. And that is quite possible. But there was a guy, Stephen Jay Gould. He was a Nobel Prize winner, paleontologist, biologist. You're probably more familiar with him with his work on the punctuated equilibrium theory, who basically says there is no such thing as a fish. And this guy studied fish for an entire life. And when you think, that's crazy. But when you start to think about it a little bit more, the guy's right. So his quote is that after a lifetime study, there is no such thing as a fish. Rather, there are 5 separate classes of aquatic vertebrate which are not at all closely related to one another. These classes, we surmise, diverged early in the evolutionary chain. There's no trains here. So an analytically astute observer would find that a salmon is more closely related to a camel than it is to a hagfish. On what basis then do we justify grouping salmon under the label fish, but not camels? So he goes on to suggest that the best way to think about fish is a concept, continuumization, where basically you can call any creature a fish because no creature is absolutely not a fish. So therefore there is no creature that is absolutely a fish. Because if you think about it, when you think fish, when I'm telling you there's no such thing as a fish, of course there is, and you've got a shape in your head, right? And that kind of looks like a barb or a carp. But what about a starfish? What about a mud skipper? What about a jellyfish? Hell, there's fish that don't even live in water. There's one sort of like nematode little thing which kind of looks like a worm. Technically, apparently, that is a fish, but it never goes near water. There's silverfish, those little silver things that run around your nan and grad's carpet, like when you were little. Yeah. There's a lot of things that come under the fish classification, and they are so diverse, basically, that there is no definition of what a fish is. So no doubt you've been doing a bit of research around the internet, and you've come across 2, 3, 100 of these videos. And what I've got laid out in front of you is very dissimilar to what everybody else would say. Oh my God, you got to get a tank. You got to get the biggest tank you can. You're going to need all sorts of equipment. You're going to need heaters and filters and lights. Well, actually, there's 3 things that you need to keep aquatic life, otherwise known as fish, right? We're going to call it fish from now on. Number 1, the most important thing you need is a vessel. Okay, that's what this is represented. It's a vessel. I'm not saying tank, because you don't have to keep them in glass boxes or acrylic boxes. Rubbermaid totes, as long as it's a sturdy one. The storage containers your mum used to go to Woolies back in the 90s and buy to store stuff under your bed. And you'd end up, cramming too much stuff in there, slamming the lid on, ramming it under your bed, and it would break, and then she'd get mad at you. Yeah, those things, as long as it's sturdy enough. I mean, we have fish here that stay short periods in those. We have plants that grow up in those. We have plants that convert in those. As long as it holds water and it doesn't leach chemicals, okay? That is one thing. You're better off looking for classification 5 on the plastic, food grade 5. It will not leach harmful chemicals into the water over a period of time. Sorry, slurping the old tea there in the mandatory massive man mug. So that's number 1, you need a vessel. Unless we can all agree you need that, right? Because your fish is going to look pretty silly flopping around on the kitchen floor whilst that 1 millimeter smear of water disappears into the hallway under the door. But okay, that's a given. Number two. Okay, now what this represents is safe water. And what does that mean? That means any water that is safe for aquatic life to live in. It will not kill it. So your tap water, unless you're on a well or, I don't know, you're drinking rainwater because you live in a yurt, is probably not safe for aquatic life. Why? It will have chlorine or chloramine added to it. And this is to kill bacteria. It's to make it safe for you to drink. And in doing that, it kills things that you need to live, to keep fish. Okay? So how do we deal with those? If you're using tap water, a product like Seachem Prime, there's one made by absolutely every manufacturer on the market. We call them dechlorinators. I think they pretty much all now deal with chlorine and chloramine, and they are very different and need to be dealt with in different ways. So chlorine is chlorine. If you leave your tap water overnight, 24 hours, 48 hours, especially with an air stone in it, that'll speed things up. The chlorine will gas off, and then you don't need a dechlorinator. Chloramine will not gas off. It's because chloramine is made up of 5 parts chlorine and 1 part ammonia. And what that does is it bonds together and makes the chlorine more stable, so it doesn't gas off, okay? You may not need a dechlorinator. If you're not using tap water, or you're on a well or in your yurt, you might be using RO water, reverse osmosis water, RODI, RODI water. The RODI stands for reverse osmosis deionized, okay? That is basically pure H2O. It goes through a series of filters, micron filters, activated carbon filters, then a reverse osmosis membrane, and then generally into deionizing resin before coming out. So it's pretty much pure water, or should be. That is so pure, you need to add minerals back to it. We call that remineralizing. Seachem, Equilibrium. You can even just cut it with your tap water, which you have to make safe first. And that is something we do here for the softer water species. Because you don't have to live in the Bible to walk on water. You just need to come here. So you can cut those two together like you used to do in your meth lab and make a mix which is softer, if that's what you're aiming for. Now, item number 3 isn't actually an item. It's an understanding. And what you need to understand is that if you change enough water, the things you see in front of you, the vessel and the safe water, is all you need to keep your fish alive. Now, you've probably seen other videos about the nitrogen cycle, and we will get onto that in the next video. But if you change enough water, you can ignore the nitrogen cycle. Anybody tells you any different, just walk away. Don't even dignify whatever they say with a response. Just walk away. And to better illustrate that, who said low budget production? Who said that? To better illustrate that, for people who haven't got as far as researching the nitrogen cycle, that sort of stuff, which is only a half cycle, by the way. Cycle is a circle. It needs to come back round to a starting point, and the aquarium nitrogen cycle does not do that. Doesn't even do it if you're including anaerobic bacteria. For all you geeks out there, no, that's still not a complete cycle. Okay, so for anybody who didn't understand that, you can ignore that. We will get to that at some point in the future. Okay, a couple of videos down the line, maybe. So this is, oh, excellent. My 3-year-old's got hold of my pens. So that's your vessel. Here's your fish. My fish is purple. When you draw your fish, you can draw it any colour you want. Don't judge me. This is your waterline. I've got to stop clicking the pens, I'm sorry. That must be really annoying. Right, this is Goldie, okay? We feed Goldie 5 bits of food. Then Goldie eats that food. And then Goldie has to go to the toilet. That's right. Goldie poops. She ain't no princess. What that does is create waste. We'll concentrate on ammonia because that is the big ticket item. Okay, creates ammonia in the water. Now ammonia is bad. What is bleach? Ammonia. So it's not great stuff. Okay, they're not creating bleach. Please do not think that they are creating ammonia. Now, ammonia is very toxic to fish. Very toxic to fish. So we have created, from those 5 pieces of food that we feed every day, we have created 6 units of ammonia. And that puts a frowny face on Goldie. She's not happy, okay? She's not okay with that. Now, we get rid of that food because she has nom that. If we do a 50% water change, we fill the tank back up with water that has no ammonia in it. And we still have just 3 units of ammonia. Now, tomorrow, we come along and we feed 5 units of food. And we know that 5 units of food create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of ammonia. Now she's really upset. Because 6 upset her. Now we've got 9. Oh, really bad. Yeah. Now we go and do another 50% water change. We've got 4.5 units of ammonia. When we fill that back up, I have to get some new pens. I'm using this too much. So she's still not happy. Now it might even be that 4 units of ammonia are toxic. Uh-oh. No more Goldie. So doing a 50% water change, in this case, was not enough. It was not enough. And enough is the key word in all of this. So, okay, Goldie's back. What do you mean that looks like a different fish? Shut up. So, now we're feeding Goldie 5. Okay? And we know that creates 6 units of ammonia. Right? Now, it wasn't enough to do 50% water changes all the time because it would build up and build up and build up to a level where Goldie died. Okay? So we need to change more water. Now, if we go and change 100% of the water, I don't recommend this, but it may be that's what you need to do, then Goldie is always going to have a little smile on her face because there will be no ammonia. Now, in theory, this is brilliant. In practicality, in real life, it's not great. Because I can't tell you how much ammonia will be produced from your food. Only you can work that out. And do you really want to be doing that? Because it could be a case that you need to change 100% of the water once a week before ammonia builds up enough to a toxic level. Or depending on how many fish you have or how much you feed or what you feed, the ammonia might build up to a toxic level within an hour. So you need to change 100% of the water every 45 minutes. Now that's doable with a flow-through system. That is absolutely doable. And it is done. But if you don't have that, if you're just having a fish tank in your house, that is not the way you want to live. So, everything can be achieved by changing enough water. And it doesn't just apply to making the water safe. You don't need a heater if you change enough water of a temperature. That means the tank temperature never falls below what the fish need or keeps them in their comfort zone. So as long as you understand the concept that changing water can get you out of a lot of trouble where it comes to water quality, temperature drops, pH fluctuations, you're already onto a winner. Because there's too many people you see on these silly Facebook beginner groups that For one, I don't understand the IQ level of somebody who goes to Facebook for an answer when Google is quicker and likely more reliable, but don't get me started on that. But they go on there with the question of what do I need? And unfortunately, there's a lot of YouTube creators out there, and they basically just tell you what to buy. But then you've got all the gear, no idea. We all know that phrase. So all I want you to take away from this is the understanding of what changing water can do for you. Then, if you understand the principles of that, and that if you want to keep a 3-inch fish in a 10-litre tank, as long as you change enough water, that fish will be okay until it physically outgrows the tank. Every other piece of equipment is just making it easier for you. That's all it's doing. So, this video has been long enough. What are we going to focus on next? The next video will be the nitrogen cycle, because that makes keeping fish easier. And if you want it to be easier than changing all this water, you need to understand that. I'll do a TLDR at the beginning, and then people who actually really want to understand it, carry on watching. It could be quite long. Get a cup of tea, probably a hobnob or two. And then we will start looking at the sort of core aquarium equipment: lights, heaters, filtration. Filtration is a minefield. That will be over several videos. We will look at initially what a filter is and how it makes it easier for you. And then we will go through the different types of filters, because there are a lot of filters available, and there are a lot of different ways of filtering water, lots of different filtration types. But don't let that explode your wormhole right now. For all you busy horse dentists, it's time to go. We're going to end this here. Just know that changing water gets you out of a lot of trouble. And at the very core of fish keeping, that is all that is necessary: vessel, safe water, and the understanding of changing water. Hope you find a reason to smile today. And above that, I hope you find a way to give somebody else a reason to smile. I'll see you in the next one.